Well, hello there. Greetings and salutations, one and all. Nice to see you have made it to the end of the week. Well, the end of, yeah, well, it's Saturday. Well done. Well done to you. Congratulations. And just realised I had volume up on the speaker down, which is not good. So, yeah, welcome to Saturday. Welcome to another Saturday Night Reaver. Tiny Tonks edition. Just organising myself. I was stripping. I found a knight in a bag. I acquired some bits and pieces, and I'm going to bring him back to life at some point. So I was stripping him. He needs a bit more brushing over, I feel. And I started building some more little floaty robots. Floaty robots are cool. So are the tonks. And tonight I fancied painting some tonks. I'm in a painty mood. And you know, I've got tonks to build, robots to build, but I really fancy getting some brush action going. So anyway, how's your week been? I hope your first week within 2025 hasn't been too much of a shit show. Early days, it's not like 2016 where everything was already going wrong and we were just being hit from pillar to post. And but yeah, you've really looking forward to this. So I'm going to need that. So we're using Vallejo. So this was bought a long time ago before any incidents with overpay conditions and all that. And I'm glad that they've actually resolved it for the workers. I know we sort of like joke about things, you know, that the tears of the workers is what made Vallejo paint really good. But you got to get paid a fair rate for the work that you do. You know, that's how it should be. You know, capitalism isn't a bad thing in general compared to some of the other alternatives, but it can't be so one-sided as it is. So share the love, share the profits. Right. We are now using Vallejo jet exhaust. I just need to find a good brush. That's a good brush. Starting work on these. So these three are slightly different to the four that I'd done originally, in that I didn't go with the option for the little missiles on the top because my big Triorus doesn't have them. So I just thought they, you know, this is one of those things that just takes your eye away from the actual vehicle. You think, well, what's that? You know, they don't look that great, but yeah. So I opted to not have them on these three. Might be selfish, but I'd rather not. For aesthetic purposes. So with jet exhaust, it's a metallic, but it's a really dark metallic, which is, you know, gives you that more sort of like used and abused and maintained, you know, oiled appearance. I do love something that looks used. It's kind of like the first phase of weathering, really, by using the appropriate paints to give that sort of beaten down look. one. So with the metallics metal colour, it's a case of just getting it spread over. Nice, you know, a brush that you're not too bothered about, really. You know, this is like what I would use for like applying washes, or a lot of washes, over a model in general. So, and I have a lot of brushes that I abuse on a regular basis. I still don't know why these wheel bits, because they do actually say on the instructions you don't have to glue them, which you don't, but as you paint them, and then wash them, that's going to sort of stick them anyway. So unless you paint them separately, sub-assembly, and then reattach and what have you. But the coverage on this is really pretty good. So that's one dip has done the majority of the tank. Not that you're going to see underneath, but whilst I'm here, let's give it a going over. Damn good going over. Not killed, mind. It was a damn good going over. Had some KFC earlier on, and seeing as I'm here, nobody wanted the extra Pepsi Maxes, so I've had them both with the addition of Jack Daniel's honey. And boy, racers have turned up. That's nice. If they're not letting off fireworks, they're doing wheel spins in the car park. And so this gives you, say, superior coverage. The pigment level in there is fantastic, you know, and for what you would normally do, like using, even if you was using sort of like lead belcher air, I don't think you would have got the same amount of coverage in comparison on here. A little bit of a slap on there. We didn't do the bottom of the first one as I was being cautious. And now, as you can see, over the case of 3 models, I've gone, sod it. But yeah, So that's really good. Okay, just making sure I got everything that I needed to. So that's that done. Right. Let's just get another little brush quickly. Making sure you got those little crevices covered. Quite a lot of schools going back on Monday, so my brief relaxation period over Christmas is rapidly coming to an end. Bit of hair dryer action, so just bear with. I'm actually going to grab one. So this is what we're aiming to do. So that's what we are going to be replicating with these fine chaps. You see with at the top there, you have these little, they might be like little rockets, but it just makes it all look all too cluttered, in my opinion anyway. So that's why I'm opting. It is an option, so you don't have to have them. So I'm not. But that's what we're aiming to replicate today. So so they've got so much detail on these things, but they are, well, I found these pretty straightforward to work with. So there will be some sort of like detailing to actually tidy up, but all in all, it's not too bad. Wow. Getting there. Right, second tank. It's been incredibly cold the past couple of days down in my part of the world in particular. Now, obviously, where I work is quite a large sort of industrial unit, so we don't have any real sort of heating. So after almost 21 years of being there, we have learned how bad winter can be. And obviously we dress appropriately with several layers and like body warmers and stuff, fleeces or hoodies and that. But it has been absolutely bitter, and I've lost count of how many times we've had emergency cup of tea or coffee to warm ourselves up on the inside, because there was only so much work you can do, and when you're not working you're cooling down, so you're constantly on the move. But like yesterday, I come home from work and I was just zonked. And so it hadn't been a particularly arduous day at work, but it was just the cold just zapped it out of you. And I got in and I said, I'm just going to have a lay down. And I was like, hour and a half later, woke up again. And then I ended up crashing out again for another sort of hour 45. Obviously must have needed it because I just felt wrong. So I did that, got up, and then started building these. But all these little things don't take that long to actually build. It's quite, I think sometimes because you're looking at parts, you go, oh great, there's got to be loads of stuff. Trying to fiddle about with whatever, and but even though it's not that bad, they do look really cool when they're assembled, and you haven't really spent that much time doing them. So they look the part once they are done, as you can see over there. I'm using a fist on air at the moment because it is nice and thin. It's got a good bit of pigment, so you're not losing out on the colour. Because once we've all applied the Mephiston and that, we will be going over the entirety of the model with Nuln Oil. Plumbing. Excellent. Final tonk. So the music accompaniment this evening is apparently a 40k inspired paint along track. So seemed quite appropriate, seeing as, well, this is 30k / 40k, because I think they had these in 40k.
With Compare the Market, you can take the guesswork out of
Oh,
applying for a
really?
credit
I
card.
didn't
Isn't
really
that
expect
right, Otto
that
Sergey?
in my
I can check your chance of approval without
listening
affecting your...
to music. Bit rude having adverts, especially when the breaks are like meant to be like every hour ish. Yeah, basically almost every hour. So that's a bit of an arse sneaking in there. Hey, hello, Hendy. How the devil are you, my good friend? Happy New Year. What are you up to? You still running it large with the old kill team stuff and causing mayhem? Good, thanks. Just painting some cursed dwarves for the old one. Nice. Well, like the original ones, or because I'll be honest with you, my old world stuff, because I don't really do the fantasy side of things, I still think of the original metal chaos dwarves with the big hats and horns, like the big centaur dudes, because that almost got me into doing Warhammer Fantasy back in the day. Them and Night Goblins. Oh, 3D prints. Oh, no. So I know loads of people that are doing like 3D print stuff. Like, I think, was it Trench Crusade is the big thing that everyone seems to be talking about at present, which, to be honest with you, I'm actually quite interested in that as well. I do like the look of it, and I do love sort of that sort of dystopian. So it's not just because I do dystopian age, but like dystopian wars and all that sort of stuff, but that sort of like early 20th century, World War II. Like, I remember watching Death Watch with Jamie Bell and Andy Serkis. That's where I first saw Andy Serkis in anything. And I love Death Watch, that feel there. There was a role-play game that I was quite fond of. I liked the backdrop and the area, which was called Armageddon, which was, again, sort of like the Antichrist is walking upon the earth and the devils are there and demons and stuff. And so you have like that sort of religious sort of backdrop of fighting good against evil. Another film favourite of mine is The Prophecy with Christopher Walken. So I love that whole sort of genre, and having a war game based in it, in that sort of 1940 to 1918, First World War aesthetic, but it's continuation, but it's not the Germans, it's the demons that you're dealing with. Oh, you backed the KS, did you? Oh, nice. Which, because I quite like New Antioch. They're my favourite, because again, that whole, because trying to be a good guy type dude, but some of the like the demon ones and of course the artillery witch, it's just the name alone sells the model. You pre-ordered a new Commonwealth fleet last week. Nice. Is that the the Zymic? It's the one with the flying aircraft carrier, like the Crown's version of the Avalon. Yeah, see, you're a man over my own heart, Andy. New Antioch, I love that look. And those like the big, armored suits with the 50 cal Bren machine gun. Yeah, I really do like. It's he's sort of calling a little bit to me, because I say like it's a sort of something different from what I've been doing for the last several years. Like with obviously Dystopian Wars, this Armored Clash, which is out now as well, because I was just doing these little guys, so like horse cavalry for my crown horses. So I was working on them during the week. Legions, because who doesn't want to have tiny little dunks running on rampant everywhere? But sometimes you want to do something with a little bit more flavour. Yeah, very diesel punk. Yeah, the other thing that it reminds me of a little bit, Mutant Chronicles, but sort of turn of the century, well, last century, 20th century, First World War aesthetic, because there was a film that they brought out early 2000s of Mutant Chronicles, and it had that real grime sort of thing, and the whole backdrop of the different factions, but they're all fighting each other, not as well as mutants. Yes. That sort of I just love that field. It's something I don't really talk about a lot, but once you get something like that come along, you just go, you know what, I really fancy some of that. I want some of that action. So what sort of print are you rocking? You got like a Saturn, or because I do have a printer. Like my friend Brian gave me one of his ones. It needed some work, and my friend Phil repaired it, but I've never printed anything. It's been sitting there for about a year now, because I've been too busy with everything else. Yeah, I dug out my Commonwealth fleet I bought back when Dystopian Wars was released. Nice. So yeah, obviously when they get Wayland, because where they're reshifting their gaming and basically distribution, they're actually moving to a site which is about 5 minutes drive from the M25. So if you're driving in, it's a piece of piss to get to, because obviously you've been to Hockley, you know how much fun that was getting up there, which isn't, in the grand scheme of things, it isn't bad for the most part, unless there's roadworks. But this new place is going to be bigger, better, obviously. We actually had Stuart from War Cradle came on to stream a couple of weeks ago. I was actually painting some legions, and he went, "That's not Armour Clash." I went, hello. So I got down my Sovereign land ship, got that out, and he was telling us about their plans they've got for it, and how it's going to be better selection of food, bigger gaming area, and all that jazz sort of thing. So I'm really looking forward to getting down there, and hopefully once that gets going, we'll get some sort of games of Dystopian Wars down there at the least. I got a Saturn IV Ultra for Christmas. Ooh, that is awesome, because I know the Saturn obviously is the old Saturn was a step up from the Mars, but Saturn IV Ultra sounds like super sexy. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I've got like quite a few friends who print stuff off, like even guys in the Titans groups, because we're there, we are using AT rules, and there isn't the weapons. You know, Forge don't sell all the weapons, so we do have like 3D print sort of weapons. Like I've got a Vulcan Mega Bolter for one of my Reavers. A friend gave me it, which was nice. So yeah, he printed it off and said, "Hey, what do you think of that?" Well, that's pretty cool. So we can have it if you want. Okay, I'll have it. I will definitely come up. Yes. Good. No, so we had, I think so far since I got involved with doing Dystopian Wars. So that was sort of April last year is when I started. Well, I sort of started March time or February, but I didn't. I obviously got involved with War Cradle in April, and from there we done. I think there was a game they done in August. They did another game sort of December time, and we had another one sort of early part of this year. We were trying to get another one done, but then the whole thing about the Shifteroonie happened, so we couldn't actually get that done. We were picking up Armoured Clash when the Commonwealth. Have you seen like some of the preview work and artist work they put up on the Steel Lounge or whatever it's called? I can't remember. Sturgeon Lounge on Facebook. There's like even one of the other factions, the Enlightened. Like some of their stuff, I've like seen the artwork for. You think, well, hello. But the one I saw like the other day, literally, was one of the Alliance. So like the French Italians sort of thing. The Alliance had like this walker, and it was just like, oh hello, hello. So I know I've got my crown. I've also obviously got some other bits that I'd sort of put in for review and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's just chonking through the Sovereign Battle Group, getting them done, and then getting everything. That's the thing. It's got so many like tiny armies. It's great. I love it. Yeah, hold on. I'll just find out what the name is again. Sorry. That's it. So on Facebook, it's the Storm of Steel, which is the official Armoured Clash community page. So on there, there's some, they post up all the pictures of like design work and stuff. So if I actually quickly go onto it. So, what have we done? So obviously people are posting up their stuff that they're building. They recently released did you see the roadmap thing that they posted up on the 31st? So obviously you must have, because you know that Commonwealth are coming out in summer. Yeah, so winter period, Union, which is out, Enlightened next, then spring with Imperium, and then there's Armoured Clash campaign set as well in spring, Aircraft, which will be interesting, Commonwealth, which obviously will be interesting, then Alliance, and then Sultanate. So, because we've already had obviously Crown and Empire. with the Battle for Singapore set. So that's obviously one of the battle sets, sort of thing. Campaign set, sorry. But so let's see on there. So these are some of the enlightened units. It looks like Commonwealth. Imperium, little tank. Enlightened aircraft. So that's the thing that I saw. I thought, oh hello. I like the look of that. So this is like little walkers. So you can see the man in the middle there. It reminds you of something out of Return to Oz. Yeah, so some interesting little bits and pieces. Yes. No, I was just looking at something else and I just got sidetracked, sorry. Right. Sorry. I was stop. I tell you what though, Hendy, right? Recently, I think partly because the re-emergence of dystopian wars ships and stuff, I've recently on YouTube. I've been watching a load of sort of not battle reports, but basically, obviously, historical sort of looks at certain naval battles and that through the First and Second World Wars, and they're really fascinating. I've really gotten hooked into watching these sort of things. Like some of them could be like an hour or so long, but there's a couple of YouTubers. There's one in particular who's a real sort of a really sort of knowledgeable about sort of warships and all that of those times and all that. But it was fascinating. Like the Battle of Jutland in the First World War or the Great War. It's just like hearing about the Grand Fleet and then certain ships, and then you hear these names of these admirals and stuff that are in command of it. But it was absolutely the Germans had a much smaller fleet in comparison to obviously the British Empire. We're a global power, so we're going to have lots of ships, and they were really, really outnumbered. It was the biggest sea engagement. Yeah, Historiograph. Yeah. I've just started watching them today, actually. I was watching when I woke up this morning, that's how addicted I've got to them. As I woke up this morning, I looked on there and I saw a story graph. It was the Battle of Tranto, where the British sent in swordfish against the Italian fleet, sort of thing. And just watching that, it was like a 10-12 minute long video, but the graphics are all there and everything. And then what was the one I watched one this afternoon, and I made my colleague at work watch it, and he was both like really fascinated. Bloody hell, what was it? It was Narvik, the Battle of Narvik. Oh, you've been watching for a few years. Yeah, so the one I was watching that sort of lured me in. If I find if they've posted up recently. There. I'm sure he posted up a video. I can't remember it. I can see the name, but I can't think of the actual how to pronounce it. Where the hell is it? So I subscribed to it and everything because I really enjoyed watching it. Subscriptions, alright, let's go that way. Oh, History Undone was one of them, and that was about the Battle of Jutland, and they actually had this YouTuber on with them. And his name begins with a D. The problem is because I watch so much stuff on YouTube, even if I went back to what I've viewed, it would take me forever to try and find it. So 9 times out of 10, it's actually easier just to scoot through the subscriptions to see who I've watched or who I am waiting for. That's Seed Studios, no, wasn't them. Oh, that is. Damn it. Alright, you found it first. Yeah, well, that's what I've done. I've got a battleship called Warspite. So, it was a Britannia class. Because with the Britannia, funnily enough, the Britannia, in the Battle of Jutland, there's a Britannia class battleship, the Indefatigable, I can't pronounce it, but that was actually sunk at Jutland. And it's like a torpedo battleship in Dystopian Wars. But you have to go Warspite. Warspite has been like, I've known of Warspite for donkeys, and it's just like one of those names. Just like, why Warspite? What's that? And then you say watching these videos. Yeah, the Jutland one on History Undone is the one I watched. I think I watched Drakenfell. Drakenfell. I think I watched his version of that as well. I was watching. He was talking about French warships. Was the one I last watched on, I think, Wednesday night, where he's going like during like the post First World War into the Second World War, and French warships, they're either really, really good or really, really poo or really, really bad sort of thing. So it was just like, hey, that sounds cool. And he just went through like these ships that had coming out and just like going, yeah, this for its, you know, if they could have got this up and running, if they hadn't surrendered so easily, this could have been quite nasty. But yeah, it's been absolutely fascinating because with getting into dystopian wars, because where my friend Phil and Paul basically they got hold of Sturgium Skies or something like that, or the Hunt for Prometheus, that was it, and they split the box. So one went Commonwealth, one went with Imperium. So they were going, oh yeah, you should get involved. You should do some of this sort of thing. And I went, I don't know. And then I thought about it. I looked at some of the ships and stuff, and like I thought, oh, I quite like Commonwealth, but then where's that? Phil's got Commonwealth. Oh, what about Imperium? Oh yeah, Imperium are alright, but Paul's got Imperium. I was looking at Crown, and I was like, I don't know. And I looked at some of the other ones and stuff. And I was listening to We Have Ways podcast with Al Murray and James Holland, and they're doing about basically the Royal Navy and the Battle of the Atlantic. And I'm listening to that, and I just thought, I've got to do Crown. I've got to go Royal Navy. I've got to do them. And I just went in and went with the Crown, and I've been enjoying them ever since. Although I do have, because obviously when you start with dystopian wars, you kind of have like 2 fleets, sort of thing. So you can have a friend play, but you know, a Crown and Alliance are my other faction of choice. As my things. I would say I think because it was the Minerva, the Italian carrier that came out. I thought, oh, that's quite cool. I like that. And I just got into the Italians. So I've got a sizable Italian fleet. I've got to go through my French fleets. So I've been thinking about them a lot recently. Especially like, you know, you're hearing about like the Richelieu. Was it Richelieu? Which was one of their battleships, which was meant to be a really, you know, shit hot battleship, but again, didn't get to play in the Second World War. I counted up my Commonwealth ships. Turns out I bought Hunt for the Prometheus, 4 frontline squadrons, and a Moyeski battle fleet. So you've got 26 Rurik frigates. Yeah. That's the thing, it's like, the thing with the Commonwealth, now, they're meant to be like, you know, quantity over quality. However, they are quite tough little bastards to sink. You know, having ablative armour is a big thing. You know, because when you're not getting those exploding hits, because like, you know, most of their, like, you know, the other ships like not Molotov, you know, like the Mass 2, you know, the first 2 critical exploders don't count as exploding. You think, oh, all right, and you need them. So you're thinking, how is it? So it's quantity over quality. You've got really good armour. You've also got a really good weapon system in the railgun. The railgun's formidable, because who doesn't upgrade it to a tri-railgun? And then, like, you're shooting airplanes out the sky for fun. You've got stupid range with them. And, yeah, so it's like, okay, this quality over quantity seems a little bit weird, because obviously you can roll those dice once you've sunk one of those ships. Oh, I can bring on, you know, although it's a basic level one, it's still nasty having another frigate just turn up, you know, because you're meant to be like, you know, you're buying like these points So you're paying like 1,500 point game or whatever, but then you could have another 3 cruisers turn up. At like so it's another like 450 points. How's that fair? Just because you got sunk. But yeah, those Ruriks, oh, they're nippy little bastards as well. And they had those mortars, didn't they? Because Phil was always charging them across the field and mortaring my ships just to give them hazardous shenanigans. Damn them. But yeah, I've still got a lot of. I've got some Canadians because I've got the Tilloch Gold and the Nautilus box set, Legends of the Crown. The Nautilus is a lovely ship, and I always thought it should have been bigger than obviously the Morganas sort of thing, and it is. But the Tilloch Galt is absolutely gorgeous. So I've got obviously like the Gloriana. I've got a Tilloch Galt, which is a Camelot class High Guardian, a Camelot High Guardian class ship. So they're quite tasty, like with the shields and stuff. But yeah, it's they've got some really nice stuff. And let's say, like, you see all these other ships that are coming out, and you go, oh, hello, that's quite a saucy little minx. Like the Egyptians, I really like the Egyptians, but then I thought, I'm not starting another faction, because at that time, I'd already started doing the Scions of Jutland, who I really like. I really do like the Scions of Jutland. Like the Valhalla, especially, is a really nice ship. And the Ragnarok. Although strangely, on the Scions of Jutland box art, you've got the Valhalla on it, but you can't take the Valhalla as a choice for the Scions of Jutland. It's like, what? How does that work out? It's on the box art. The Canada, yeah, they do. Those the prows are, because originally all the Crown ships had the same like ablative armor on the prow rule, but then they changed it so the Canadians have it because they've got different prows. So they've got ablative armor on the front, but they have vulnerable sterns instead. Whereas on the Crown, like the main ships don't have vulnerable sterns, but they don't have ablative armor at the front. They don't have any ablative armor, which seems weird, seeing as they were the first, historically, first country to make a dreadnought. Come on. You should have some bloody, like, heavy armor thingies. Oh, the Scandinavian ships are really nice. As I said, like, the Valhalla fast dreadnought is sleek as and I have, because I built it as the Valhalla, I thought, no, I'm not going to do anything else, but then realised I couldn't actually build it as, I can build it as a Scandinavian force, but then you don't get the Scions of Jutland's like bonus rule sort of thing. But I still can't understand why. I'm gonna have words. Because it doesn't make sense. Why would you not? And they've got a lot of named ships. So, like you've got, again with the Gloriana, that is the class, that is the ship there. But then you've got the Tilloch Galt, which is the Canadian one. They've also got the East India Company ship, like Merchantman, whatever it is, Indian Man, that's it, Grand Indian Man. Although I have to say the Indian ships as well, they're really the Ganges battle cruiser is pretty sweet, and the Ceylon platforms, shield platforms, they're really sweet, and the Godaval littoral cruisers are really nice. I'm just waiting for like the Australian stuff and like the South African stuff to come out now. I've got to build up the Canadians though. Canadians need, as I said, I've only got one frontline squadron and the Tilloch Galt. That's it. Yeah, let's say the frontline squadron, you get obviously the Halifax or whatever it is, and the Toronto. Well, Toronto's command cruisers, they don't need them if you've got the Tilloch Galt. But yeah, having those ships, they're just so nice. And literally, when that box set came out and I got it, I had them painted within a week. Not to say they're really easy to paint, but they're really easy to paint the way I did them anyway, because I just literally like what do I use? Lead Belcher base, and then went over it with Aphonian green? Yeah, Aphonian camo shade. That was it. They look good. Oh, well, I went over with some sort of diluted agrax as well, just to sort of tone it. But they are really, they're good ships. They're very thematic in that you've got to get them in close. Especially like the 4, because it's got like this big ramming weapon, Colossus like weapon on the front for ramming into people. But yeah, there's, you know, I'm itching to play more. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like, especially when you compare them to like the old, like Spartan Games versions as well. Because I think you had, didn't you have some of the old ones, didn't you? Or am I getting confused with someone else? There was like, because they were saying like, oh, I've got the old ones. What do you think? And I, well, they're a lot smaller by comparison. So whilst Warcradle will say, yeah, you can turn up to a game if you've got them, and you know, not a problem. But it's for your own peace of mind. You see them next to the, like, you know, a decent sized battle cruiser, and you're going, oh. yeah, that's I say. I thought you did, but you see, you've seen how the models differ, don't you? So you know exactly what I'm talking about in that respect. It's just size does mean everything. But those that new Russian set, I should be hopefully getting that for preview. I put my name down for it for preview. So as soon as I get it, I will be popping it up on the old YouTube with an unboxing video. Obviously, no frills. At least you get to see what's inside. And then I'm looking at actually doing the aircraft carrier.
You are tree. Your
Bloody
roots
adverts again.
strong branches.
So, thank you. Nice. I'm going to give that a blast. The Commonwealth stuff match up pretty well, to be fair. The Crown stuff is a little small though. Alright. I'll give that another go. Yeah, so really at the moment, get this Russian ship done. Once it comes out, get that painted up as soon as I can. I'm definitely feeling more of a draw. You know, I am definitely very excited for Dystopian Wars, because it's a fun game. It's different to like, all these GW games, and I'm sure that seeing as James is on the firm now, obviously I know he's been doing Armoured Clash, but they might say, well, you know, have a little look at this. They might do some rules amendments or balancing, because that's the other thing. They update Dystopian Wars quite regularly, and it's all there. It's free to access. So, you know, you can't say once you've got your basic rule book. Obviously, when they do a read-up, you've got to get a new rule book. But again, the gubbing box sets are, what was it, 25 quid, and you always need more dice and stuff. But you know, really, you know, they've really got some great models out there. Yes, but I'll let start my alliance. I want to basically work on an alliance skimmer fleet, because I haven't got one. I've still got a whole couple of sprues of Crown aerial units as well, like Predanes and that. So I've got them to work on as well. Yeah, well, absolutely. I say, you know, and the same goes for Armoured Clash as well. So, you know, it's nice having them as long as you sort of like update your rules when the new Orbats come out. But having that at your fingertips, you know, everyone's got, you know, not iPhones, but you know, phones. You can access them or on your computer and download them and print them off. Also have public betas for Orbats is cool. Yeah, exactly. You know, they see what works and balances and all that sort of thing. You know, because that way it makes it a little bit more of a level playing field. So you know, having that group of people to and have their say, because there is a Discord as well for Warcradle. So I don't know if you're a part of that as well. So they've got all their different sort of groups, like Crown, you know, all the different factions of their own channels, as well as other bits and pieces and on there. So I'm sure they're incorporating Armoured Clash as well now with those bits. Where's my Nuln Oil? Ah, there's my Nuln Oil. Join this week. Nice. And then we've had the Markov dossier came on here a couple of times in the past. Speed Demon Paints as well. He's a really nice guy and he does exceptional work. Really does. He's done the the land train, Lakota, the Lakota land train thing that comes in Armoured Clash. So he painted his one up and got it out and looks absolutely stunning. but he does really good sort of like in-depth videos, same as Markov Dossier really. They're the two that I've watched for information concerning dystopian wars, you know, ship suggestions and what's cool, what's not, and all that jazz. I love him War Games. Yeah, I've not checked him out. I've seen he's been suggested before as well, so I might have to give him a go. See what he says. But it's a really nice little community going with dystopian wars. There's I've also got a WhatsApp group as well. I think yeah, it is a WhatsApp group. But it's still early days on that side of things. So I think a lot of the person who's been running it is also where they're doing all the transference. She's covering all that as well. So it's a bit OTT with that, but there's normally somebody posting stuff there or thereabouts, or just to say Discord is just as good. I was actually thinking earlier on, because obviously where I normally do Wednesdays and Saturdays, I was thinking of maybe having Wednesday as like War Cradle Wednesday sort of thing, so I focus more on dystopian wars and Armoured Clash then, and then obviously Saturday Night Reaver will still be Saturday Night Reaver, so Titanicus and Legions Imperialis sort of thing. So that was my literally like 3 hours old idea. That's cool. Seems like a fun game. I wanted to try it back when I was a teenager and Spartan had it, so it's nice to give it a second crack with the plastic kits. Yeah, and I say like they're doing better, like the evolution of the models as well. It's like from when I first started, like again, it's only been almost 2 years, so the start of last year. What did I get first? I think it was a Britannia battle fleet I got first, and you know, like the Caliburns, the Excaliburs as well were just like all one piece. So, well, say one piece, it's like, you know, molded kit, blah blah blah. But by the time it went further and I got hold of the Victory battle force, so the aircraft carrier, they'd changed the sprues, so you had the Caliburn and the Excalibur had little well, you could put magnets in there, like on the base. It's a little bit fiddly with the actual turrets, but you can put magnets in them to magnetize, because you could swap out a gun battery for a torpedo battery, sort of thing, or rocket battery, because you have the different subclasses within that destroyer sort of thing. Like, I love Excaliburs. Excaliburs are gorgeous funny little, mean little bastards. Not a bad idea. War Cradle Wednesday is a good retweet. I think so. And plus, obviously, Stuart turns up. He'll be happy. So, yeah, might have to do that. And then see how it goes from there. I heard they update some of the sprues, which is cool. See, that they aren't really that old kits, like 3 or 4 years old. Yeah, you're right. They're not that old. But as I said, in the last, it is literally, I think I came in at the right time, because obviously they're just going through the changeovers. So when I got the Britannia kit, it had the fixed ones, and I think because I got the Gloriana in May, so, and that had the old ones, but it was the Victory which I got, I think, July, August time, and that's when they started feeding in the new sprues. But yeah, like, you know, that's unheard of in, like, again, certain companies like GW, that's unheard of, you know. So they've brought out a product, and then they go, hold on, we can improve this sort of thing. And we know what the people want as well. You know, being able to sort of have options where you can swap weapons in, sort of thing, like different turrets. Because as I say, like with the Crown, those Swiftshore turrets are really nice. Although it's a bit annoying that you can't, you know, use them with leading fire, especially if you've got heavy torpedoes, because they're not the same. You use this 20-year-old kit and you like it. Yeah, but that's the thing, is, yeah, they are still, you know, a young company, really. War Cradle, you know, it's not probably about 10 years that they've been due. Like, they started off with Wild West Exodus, obviously, but then also having announced to incorporate that into their dystopian age bracket. So you've got Wild West Exodus skirmish, then you've got warships running around blowing the crap out of each other, and then you have ground battles. So it's a nice little sort of combination, and keeping it all in their own universe so they can do their own stuff. But it's also where they're using, you know, like characters from those that time, like, again, for like Dystopian Wars, you got one of the characters you can have, Mycroft Holmes. That's cool. Not Sherlock, he's busy, he's investigating some murders, but you know, doing that sort of thing, taking those personas from history and going, oh, let's have this person doing this and this person doing that. It's really quite a nice little twist to incorporate them in the altered sort of history as such, because it's like a different timeline technically, isn't it? So it's like the Kelvin timeline from Star Trek, but with huge battleships. But yeah, I'd like to definitely see some more bits and pieces. the multi-system campaign pack on the roadmap for this year for AC and DW has me really interested. Exactly, you know, they've really putting a lot into this, and they've got, you know, at the end of the day, they are a really good kit to pick up, you know, warship games. There's not that many of them out, sort of thing. And especially if you get that sort of that bite to actually listen or watch, like YouTube and stuff, with, you know, Battle of Jutland, Battle of Trantor, and all that sort of stuff, because it fleshes it out, you know. And as I say, War Spy is definitely, you know, going to be, because I've got a couple of the battleships. Why did I get the other one? Oh yeah, I think, yeah, because it was in the introductory set, that was it. Yeah, so because I didn't have like the rule books and stuff, I bought the introductory set, which was basically, for the price you paid, you got a Britannia and support fleet, plus all the gubbins and all that, for like 45 quid. And the gubbins on their own was 25 quid. So, mate, you might as well buy yourself an introductory set for the extra ships and stuff. But it's, you know, it's a great, you know, it's really quite good. But I also like the fact that War Cradle, when you're buying it from Wayland, you're paying normal price, and you can go to like other, you know, online suppliers, and those that stock Dystopian Wars, you're getting it at sort of a discounted price, just like Games Workshop. So, like, obviously, you're more likely to have stock of it at Wayland because they make the bloody thing. But if you go Goblin Games, Firestorm, oh, who else was there? I think Element did Dystopian Wars as well. You know, these other like online suppliers, you can get like, you know, 10-15% off. Although I haven't bought Dystopian Wars from any other supplier than Wayland, because I would pop in there after work and go, I'm going to look through the shelves, see something, bang, it's there, I've got it, buy. You know, so it's just one of those things. Yeah, I could save myself that, but then you got to pay for delivery, so balances out. Pardon me. Three other that I can think of, and none of the models look as cool as the second was. Oh right, yeah. Again, it's that sort of diesel punk sort of feel as well, which is cool as fuck, you know. But so they're good little ships, easy to put together. So, and yeah, just let them loose. So that's the one I've got up there. So the Victory. Big chunk of resin. Don't paint the bottom. No point. But that is a cool vessel. Ship of the line. But actually, Henry, have you seen the what do you call it? The Ice Maiden. That is nothing. Like, Ice Maiden's like that. It's fucking huge. Avalon. So there's the Avalon, which again, cool as fuck. Oh, yeah, Judge. Sorry, I'll catch up with what's been going on here. Sorry. Yeah, I'm looking at getting Crown Starter set and then either Victory or Avalon. The Avalon set, you get a real nice selection, obviously like aerial things. So whilst they're drying, let's show and tell. Anyway, so Avalon. So in that thing, you get the Predane. You get 2 of them. You get 2 Tintagels, which are these little monsters, and you get 4 Saxons. You also get, I think it's a frontline sprue in there as well. So you've got 4 of them, 2 of them, 2 of them. So this is equivalent to like a cruiser, but flying. And then you've got your big lump of resin in the Avalon. These are quite nifty because they have obviously torpedo launchers on there as well. So aerial torpedoes. They're the 360 rockets as well. And plus you can basically do boarding actions with these things. So you can actually come in at a slightly longer range than normal boarding actions. So I think it's like within 6 inches as opposed to within 4 inches, because the troops on these have rocket packs on. So it's like the Rocketeer going whee. But they're just like the old flying boats really. But they're cool little things. Cool little things. And then the Saxons. So this reminds me of like from Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind, like the gliders they had in there. So you get 4 of them. So you also get a frontline sprue as well. So it's value for money at the end of the day. That's what I'm getting at. Looks huge, very nice. Hey, hello Paul, how are you, bud? Evening. That's cool. It is bloody cool, So that's them. What else we got up here? Well, by comparison, actually. So let's put them. So this is the Vauban. This is the Alliance flying carrier. So we're about to have a carrier off. So Avalon, you've also got, as I say, the Victory. Don't think we'll have enough space on it. So Victory, Avalon, the Vauban, the Courion, which is the French carrier. This is the one that you normally have the Lady Liberté on there, but in my haste to build it, I fucked up. So this section here, you have a different version of that front section, which then allows you to put Lady Liberté. So you've got the Statue of Liberty on there, and that is the Minerva. So I like the Minerva because it's a dual hull, so it's completely different. But that's what you're looking at. So that's all my big carriers. So alliance, 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 crown. Scandinavians don't have aircraft carriers. They have like like ornithopters basically. So they have like little helipads on the back of theirs. So you've got the Frelon there. These are the Frelon bombers. These are the Marinois fighters. The Alliance have really good bombers and fighters. There you go. But yeah, the ships themselves. So that's glued in. They're glued in. They're glued in. Yeah, so I just glued all them in. Apart from obviously this one, because you have options, but these ones you didn't initially. I don't think they might have changed it now, but I don't know. Rockets would probably be better for your aerial units that stop being shot at by aircraft. But the Vauban is a chunk. But the two versions you've got of the Vauban. So you have the Vauban, which is the flying one. You also have the named one, which is the La République, but that's a skimmer. But that said, it being a skimmer, so you obviously like sort of thing. It has more weaponry, so it loses flying ability because obviously that gives you a little bit of a benefit. But as a skimmer, it gains 4 additional heat rays or heat lances. But it is a skimmer, so you're using the skimmer rules for it. But that's what I'm looking at doing, is actually using that as La République, and then having the skimmers like the Chevalier, Chasseur, the Vourier, and the other one in support. So having, because you have to, I've got, again, these guys here come with lots of skimmers in them, sort of thing. All my Italians are done, so I've got that. I've got the Mars battleship as well, and their corresponding ships to go with. I don't think I've got anything left to build off of them. I think I've built them all. I haven't built all the support ships for the French Alliance vessels, so I've only purely done the capital ships for them. That's a complete fleet. The Crown is 99% complete, apart from some aerial vehicles to be done. And yes, so these. So you want to get some proper games going as well at some point, you know, because I know we were talking about doing like a campaign where you choose a faction and then every game, when you come to a gaming day, it adds on to your like experience and stuff, just to give it a little bit more sort of like of a thematic feel to it. And I think the plan was that it was going to be like the Battle of the Mediterranean or something like that. So we will see. I'm just going to put these back. Come on, Victory. Come on, Avalon. Come on, Vauban. Let's see all the way through. And the Minerva. The other thing I like about the Minerva is obviously the fighters that they still have the Malinois fighters as the Alliance standard, but it also has repair facilities. So if you needed resupply and all that, you just sail up within a certain range of that bad boy and stock up on guns, especially like ships that have like one-shot weapons or something like that. It's definitely handy. Right. Here you go, Andy. So these are the big boys. So the Gloriana, 2 Britannias, 3. These are the they're the missile launching subs. Sorry, put them underneath there. Missiles, Hotspurs, Albions. These are Pictons, I think. Yeah, they're Pictons. So they're like, no, they're Lancelots. Sorry, they're Lancelots. Because they've got the small dudes at the front there. And these are the Agincourts, I believe. Yeah, it's very Battlefleet Gothic. But I was trying to keep it as realistic as possible, really. You know, but I said like these prows had to be painted, so you got the 2 different prows on these 2, all magnetized there. These turrets are magnetized, and they're the only 2 that aren't magnetized because they are fixed anyway. But you've got 6 sets, so this is so where you can take these gun batteries out and replace them with shield generators for the Camelot class, or you just use the Tilloch Galt as they've got now. The old Spartan crown carrier I have is twin holders. Oh, is it? Alright. The Alliance skimmers do look cool, yes. That's cool. I love campaigns. I haven't played one in such a long time. No, exactly. So hopefully when things get a little bit more organised at Warcradle, sort of Wayland, with the new facilities, we can get something going. So that's the big ships. Right, so here's the Tilloch Galt, which is the High Guardian Canadian. Look at that prow. It's like Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd is a dreadnought. So the Tilloch Galt. I do love the look of the Tilloch Galt, to be honest. It's just screams like awesomeness. So that is the Nautilus. So I sort of followed the box art on that one. These are the Scion platforms, so shield generator platforms. These are actually pretty nifty. These are the Godaval littoral cruisers. These are Sabre cruisers. So these could be they're a HQ choice, the Sabres. or you can. They've got character versions, which is the Lord's Hood. So you've got three. You've got the Alexander, Arnold, and Arthur. It's the three, and they're quite nasty. That's the Ganges battle cruiser. So it's quite a little bit sleek. That's what we've got going with these guys here. I had to borrow a turret for when I was playing a game, so I had to nick one of those ones. So I've got others to swap in, but I haven't got round to doing that yet. So we've got 8 little escorts. So this is what you buy when you have your big ships. You have these escorts hanging around. I've got another 4 of them to paint up still. These are my, so apart from the Minerva, these are my Italians. So the Mars, which I just realised I never magnetised the actual heat lance. So with each of the factions, I've gone with a grey, but I've gone with a different grey, and then worked up from that. So these guys, I think I used it was a GW one, a Celestra grey on these, and then washed them all over for them. So you've got the Cestus, you've got the Pugios, the Sagittar. Can't remember the name of these ones or these ones. The Vulcan supply ship. And the big crossbow ballista cruisers and support aircraft carriers. But these, when you're in the zone, yeah, that's it. Use Sons of Horus green on those, and I really like it. Yeah, I've done these within a couple of weeks. I literally just got started with the Mars and just went off on one. But as I say, it's having that slight variation in coloration, which is good. I might actually use that for the skimmers, because I really like that, Sons of Horus. Now, ordinarily, I would have shown the Scions of Jutland, but they are buried, and that's too much. Because I'm going to probably log off in a bit, because tiredness is creeping up on me. But I've really actually, I've painted some tanks. I've done all right, but it's been really nice having a conversation about Dystopian Wars. It's a shame Stuart didn't drop in. But because Stuart is also he's a Crown player as well, so I'll probably do something. I've still got to get myself a C mat, gaming mat with a nice sort of nautical feel. Sounds like the kids are back with their beat boxes and noises. But yeah, so I will be working on these over the next couple of nights, I guess. But you could technically, that's tabletop standard, there, yeah. no one would notice. So yeah, I'll work on these a bit more because I've got to use the Evil Sun Scarlet layer on the red. And now that it's washed, it's still drying. But yeah, it's good times. Oh, little dude's fallen off. Damn it. He's fallen off his horse. But yes. I got a deep cut one when I picked up first bought some duck. What's it like? Is it like the were they like the mouse mat material ones, or is it just like a proper like vinyl or material one that you've got there? Yeah, material. Yeah. But yeah, it's to say it's just a case of looking through and finding something you go, you know what, I like the look of that one. And being happy with your choice. Oh, God. Yes, I am. Yeah. I am in Frozen's one. Oh, yeah, because you're on there as well, aren't you? I actually had, what was his name? Oh, it was Tobe. Tobe, I think he mentioned me in a tweet, because I said, yeah, I was replying to somebody on Twitter, obviously. That's why I got mentioned in a tweet. Because he's got Trench Crusade, and like Tobe was saying, oh, if you speak to Chris, maybe he'll print off some models for you. And I haven't said anything as yet. But yes, that's I am in the Frozen, in the crypt. Oh, he's got a Trench Crusade thing there as well. Ah, right. Yeah, I should maybe pop in a bit more because I say I've got a few Discords, but I get added to them, and I don't. Apart from, I don't even really do my one that often. Yeah, I post in there every now and again. But yeah, so obviously crystals. I mean, I'm probably in there the most out of all my Discords, but I am in Frozen's one. So yeah, I'll be sure to sort of pop in there and that. Hey, hello Arnold. Was you out working or? Oh, right, cool. Pulled all our resources in the community and got all the STLs from the Kickstarter. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, but I say, I am interested in, as I said, like New Antioch in particular. I just like the aesthetic they have. It's a really nice sort of look that they've got there. And it's just, I just love that sort of like, sort of savage brutality. They're kitted out and the big armored dudes with the machine gun. Ugh. Yes. Yes. But yeah. Actually, whilst they're there, put something in the trench crusade bit. There you go. Tagged him. Now just visiting a friend in Friesland, north of the Netherlands. Playing kill team starter set. Cool. By the way, both battle a box mechanic and building that. Nice. So I started on my second lot. These a friend got me these for Crimbo for Christmas. Yeah, I've started them. I've pretty much finished for the evening because I am pooped. All this cold weather is really draining me. Trying to keep warm. So they are that's actually quite nice. Warm towel. I wish I'd gotten hold of the starter set. Hivestorm is great, but I'd like to ease in with the slimmer rule set. Yeah, it's they've it's about 6 factions they've got for it. It does kind of, it speaks to me. It really does. So we'll see if Chris actually answers. But yeah, it's in the tag. Starter set is awesome. Rules are so clear and easy to follow. It's a big plus on my age. Well, that's always handy. Ah. Oh, yeah, they're pretty cool, mate. Nice to see them not armed with tri-rail guns. It's all I get to see is fucking tri-rail guns. Tri-rail guns here, tri-rail guns there. Do you have any other weapon systems? Yeah, that's, as you say, it is one of the, well, I don't know if it's been updated or nerfed or whatever, but the tri-rail gun is a formidable weapon. They did sort of do something with the Majestic batteries on the Crown. They're not as potent as they used to be, but again, at the end of the day, that's why you have all these play testing going on and updates, so it's fluid. You know, paint them up first. Once they're painted, they'll be deployed, no doubt. But yeah, it seems like to me like that's my only sort of my kind of beef with Commonwealth is, you know, you have one rule which, you know, gives you 3 ships. You know, you still got to roll for them, but you know, I don't think there's been many times when Phil hasn't managed to get at least 1 ship out. You know. And it does make a huge difference. Like, I think the first time I played him, I took out the Gloriana, and you know, it took, you know, with most of my other fleet was like gone after a couple of turns, sort of thing, and I only really had the Gloriana left, and I had to get to the other side of the board. At which point, like the ships that had been destroyed, he was bringing back on right in front of us. So it's like, well, there's no point, you know, because I can only move that way. I've got to get to that side of the map, and then you've got 2 cruisers coming on. So I'll just give up now. So, you know, it was a real hard-fought battle because, you know, it don't matter if you've got one big ship. If you've got lots of little ships and, you know, the damage isn't getting, you know, sort of distributed as well as you would hope, or being as effective, because it's all down to your dice rolls, isn't it, at the end of the day. But yeah, that was, you know, I've not had a good time against Commonwealth in general. I have defeated them, like in the last gaming weekend we done at Wayland, which was, I think it's the one that I actually won as well, which was nice. The second game was up against Commonwealth, and they had a carrier, so I blew that apart. But yeah, and obviously the Excaliburs did really well. The Ceylon platforms did really well, because there was a bit like, oh, that's a bit. I said, well, the Ceylons, you have to deploy them, and because there was quarters, we had to take quarters of the board as well. That was part of the mission. So if you had control of a quarter and stuff. So, and basically, like my Ceylons, they're immobile. Once they're deployed, they're not going anywhere. So I deployed them as far forward as I could in an opponent's quadrant, because they're not going anywhere. So yeah, you can shoot at them or whatever, they can shoot back and stuff. But it's what you would do, right? You wouldn't just say, oh, I'll leave them in my ball. No, you put them as far as you can. And I did. Rules. You know, it wasn't as close as, you know, if he put his ships forward, I wouldn't have been able to have done that. But he kept them back because he had tri-rail guns. So yeah, you know, he is a fun game. He definitely has characterful elements to it, and your dice. It's all down to your dice. But I kind of like that, and obviously the Vela cards do have their own little addition to the game as well, so they're enjoyable. It's fun. It is an enjoyable game. Right. Alright. I'm just replying to you on the thing. Alright. Okie dokie. Well, as I said, like 20 minutes ago. I'll be logging off. So thank you for coming and hanging out today. It has been enjoyable. I know we was painting these dudes, but having a good chat about warships and stuff, and obviously all these YouTubes that we follow as well, is really. I've got to check out that other one. I'll look through here anyway. So yes, thank you all for coming to hang out on Saturday Night Reaver. I did discuss earlier on, if you weren't here earlier on, that probably, I'm considering it, it sounds like a good plan to me, that on Wednesdays I'm probably going to have that as a dedicated night for War Cradle, so Dystopian Wars and Armoured Clash, and then obviously Saturday Night Reaver will remain, just to sort of diversify stuff. Obviously they might split around, but that's what I'm thinking of, just to sort of, because I've got lots of Dystopian Wars and War Cradle game, Armoured Clash, weapon guns, games, boxes to get through, and I need to sort of diversify my portfolio. But yes, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and that the next week is not an arse to you all. And I hope to see you on Wednesday. Again, just come in, hang out, chat, and have some fun. So until then, happy hopping. Peace out, people. See you later.